Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today we're looking at something that's now quite old and becoming very, very hard to find indeed. We are looking at the 1995 release by Playmates from their Star Trek Voyager series of action figures. And this particular action figure we are looking at today is none other than the Voyager captain herself, Captain Kathryn Janeway, as portrayed by Kate Mulgrew in the TV series. Now, Star Trek Voyager ran for 7 seasons. It was one of the very, very popular Star Trek series. There was 172 episodes that were produced, and they aired from 1995 right through to 2001. And basically the concept was that they ended up being trapped in the Delta Quadrant, which is 70,000 light years from the Alpha Quadrant, which is where we're all from. And the whole premise of the series is them journeying back to the Alpha Quadrant, which was going to take generations. Unfortunately, at the end, they did manage to get back through a conduit that was opened up by a Borg ship, and they managed to arrive back in the Alpha Quadrant in the very last episode of Star Trek Voyager. Anyway, okay, that's the series. I've digressed a little bit again, but this is the action figure in front of us. And it says, warning, choking hazards, small parts, not for children under 3 years, ages 4 and up. And it says, exclusive inaugural edition Playmates Skybox collector card. And we've got a beautiful image of the Voyager starship. And it says, Star Trek Voyager, Captain Kathryn Janeway, commanding officer of the USS Voyager. And she comes complete with Delta Quadrant Accessories, which includes a Type 2B phaser, Starfleet Tricorder, personal access database, or display device, I should say, which is the pad, and a desktop monitor. And bonus, she comes with a Starfleet display base. And on the right hand side you can see, on the left hand side you can see the card, the Playmates inaugural trading card, with Kathryn Janeway on the front of it, obviously. And you can see the figure behind the bubble and the accessories just below the card. And at the very bottom left hand corner you've got a Playmates logo, and the bottom right hand corner it says assortment number 6480 and it's stock number 6481. Okay, before we have a good look at the figure itself, let's turn the card around and let's see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the card around and this is what we've got printed on the back. So it says ages 4 and up, and you see an image of the trading card again there, and it's the exclusive inaugural edition Playmates Skybox collector's card. You got an image of Voyager flying through space, and it says Star Trek Voyager, and it says, in an effort to rescue a band of marquee rebels, the Starfleet ship USS Voyager finds itself swept up in a strange, terrifying phenomenon which throws the ship into the far reaches of the galaxy, some 70,000 light years away. With no easy way home, some of Starfleet's finest officers and a handful of dedicated marquee rebels join forces aboard one of the most highly advanced starships ever built, the USS Voyager. To find a way back home, join the Voyager crew for exciting new adventures as they go boldly to explore, study and investigate this unexplained region of space. It says collect all of these Star Trek Voyager action figures. So we've got Captain Kathryn Janeway, which is obviously this one. You've got Commander Chakotay, Lieutenant Tom Paris, Ensign Harry Kim, Lieutenant B'Elanna Taurus, the Doctor, the Emergency Medical Hologram, Lieutenant Tuvok, Kess of the Akumpa, and Neelix the Talaxian. And just below that you can see the accessories that Captain Janeway comes with. So she's got Delta Quadrant Accessories, Type 2B phaser, which is a personal issue defense armament, Starfleet Tricorder, portable sensors, and I can't quite read that, let's bring that forward a little bit, and portable sensor and sound visual recording device. You've got the personal access display device, or the pad, handheld information and control unit, and the desktop monitor, Starship Library computer interface terminal. And there you can see an image of the figure itself, and she comes complete with a Starfleet display base. And you've got the important notice to collectors. That's all about the detailing and the authenticity of the action figure series. Star Trek fans, the fan club at the bottom there. Copyright information just here. It says copyright 1995. Playmates logo and the package details again at the bottom there. And proof of purchase, assortment number 6480 and stock number 6481. And just here we've got the computer detailing on Captain Janeway. It says library computer and retrieval system, USS Voyager, NCC 74656, senior officer, biographical profile, subject Kathryn Janeway, species human, rank captain. Kathryn Janeway, the first captain of the USS Voyager. This is that tricky writing to read. Embodies all the admiral qualities of a Starfleet executive officer. Although she's very intelligent and sensitive, Janeway can be huge. Can be what? Can be huge. As duranium when the situation warrants. The daughter of the mathematician mother and astrophysics father, Janeway's career in Starfleet began in the science division. Her natural leadership skills led Janeway into command assignments, but her science skills add a unique perspective in her captaincy. When the USS Voyager was pulled into the Delta Quadrant by the caretaker, it was Janeway's decision to destroy the array which could have sent them home. This courageous order, which saved the Compass from a Kazon threat, left her ship and crew 70,000 light years from home. Janeway has sworn that she will find a way to return her people home, but in the Starfleet tradition, they will explore this quadrant of the galaxy, boldly going where no one has gone before. Further data access denied, contact Starfleet security. There we go. Now that is the back of the car. That back section there, I'm afraid it's on that computer digital printing, and it's very tiny and very difficult to see, which is hence the reason why I've zoomed in to read it. So but there we are. That's the back of the card. So let's turn the card back round to the front and let's have a look at the figure itself. Okay, so I've turned the card back round to the front, and I have zoomed in on the figure's face and on the facial features of Kate Mulgrew, who obviously played Captain Kathryn Janeway in the television series. And yeah, I mean, it's not a bad likeness, I would say. Overall, they've done pretty well, really. You can tell it's obviously Captain Janeway. It's not 100% there, but it's very, very close. I mean, I think it's a very, very good likeness. And perhaps if we turn it to the side, yeah, a very, very good likeness, I think, of Kate Mulgrew. So the sculpting I believe to be very, very good. Let's just have a zoom out again and compare the two again. Yeah, I think it's a very good likeness. Definitely not quite spot on, but very, very good. And she's obviously dressed in her Starfleet uniform, which is the later designed uniform, and she's got the purple top over her shoulders and her shirt underneath, and she's all in black, and she's got a badge on her left breast. And there we go, all the way down. She's all in black, right up to her boots and so on. And yeah, a very, very good figure, I think. And all these figures, Playmates figures, were certainly amongst the best of the best. So now, unfortunately, I don't have a Captain Janeway Voyager action figure out of the pack. We've only got these ones in the sealed packs. And unfortunately, I can't open the card and take her out. However, I do have my trusted Ben Sisko action figure, as you can see here, Captain Sisko from the Deep Space Nine, and they are the same, pretty much the same height. He's a little bulkier than Captain Janeway because obviously he's a man rather than a woman, so they made him a little bit bulkier than they did Captain Janeway. But the whole point of this is to check the articulation because they both run the same articulation. So the head turns, as you can see, the tops of the shoulders, yep, and the arms turn, as you can see there, and also you've got the elbow joints where the elbows move. The hands don't move, but they don't need to because the top of the arm turns there, and that's the same on both arms. Okay, so good articulation there. And then of course you've got the waist, which turns around. It goes all the way around if you wanted to, and back again, more so than what we could actually do. And then of course the tops of the legs move up and down, and then you've got the knee joints which move up and down. The legs don't actually turn as the arms do, but I'm not sure that you need them to. And of course on the bottom they're all individually, all the figures are individually numbered, the Playmate series, and you've got the copyright information on the bottom, and you've got the holes on the bottom of the feet if you wanted to put them on the stands which appear in the play sets. And there's also a few stands that were produced where you could just stand the figures on, and the little pegs that were coming up from the bases. So there we are. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the articulation. Let's just get the sizes of Captain Janeway, and that she is 12 centimeters tall, which is just under 12 centimeters, which is 5 3/4 inches really. Width wise, she's staying about 3.5 centimeters wide. And depth wise, if we just turn it upside down, which is the easiest way to measure it, we're looking at 2 centimeters. Let's just see how that compares to Sisko, just as a matter of curiosity actually. So same height, 12 centimeters, just under. He's a little bit wider because of he's more broader. He's 5 centimeters, but they're all 2 centimeters wide. So pretty much the same. Just a little bit different because of the fact that one's a man and one's a woman, and obviously the men are a little bit broader. Okay, so how well did these figures do? Well, yep, they done exceptionally well, as with all Playmates figures of the time. Because you've got to remember, back in 1995 when these were produced, Star Trek was a massive, massive franchise. And it was probably the biggest franchise in the world back then. Obviously, it's not now. Star Wars, I would say, is probably the biggest franchise now. But back then, it was definitely Star Trek. There was so much Star Trek stuff being produced. You had Star Trek Voyager, you had the Next Generation, you had Deep Space Nine, then after that you had Enterprise, and of course you still had all the movies. I think Star Trek The Next Generation was just venturing into the movies. You had all the reruns being shown, all the old movies on Sky TV, so there was so much going on of Star Trek, hence the reason why it was probably the biggest franchise. And obviously there were so many figures being produced. Now Star Trek Voyager was just gone onto the screens in 1995, and Playmates rushed to get the figures done and out during that first season of Star Trek Voyager, and they've done a terrific job again. Sold so many of these figures, but like all the figures, to keep them their value high and collectability very, very good, they run them for shortest amount of time before they move on to the next series of figures. So Voyager was run for this season, and then they produced another season of Voyager figures. I think another one. I think there's probably 2 or 3 different seasons of Voyager figures that were produced. But as I say, they only run them for a short amount of time before they produce the numbers that they set out to do in the beginning, and then they move on to the next range of figures. And don't forget, at that time, they were producing figures for all of the series and the movies. So they were very, very busy in figure productions. Of course, now we're talking almost 30 years ago, 1995 to 2024. So almost 30 years ago since these figures were produced. They are now the Voyager series. I don't know why, but these seem to be some of the most collectible figures, and probably the rarest figures, the whole season I'm talking about, of all of the figures that Playmates produced. And I really don't understand why. But there we are. Maybe there just wasn't the same amount of numbers produced on the Voyager as there was, or season 1 Voyager, as there was of the other figures. Maybe because they produced them during their first season. I don't know. I really don't understand why. These are probably some of the most collectible Playmates figures around. And they don't really come up for sale very often on the platforms now. They did used to, don't get me wrong. 10, 15 years ago, you will find a lot of Star Trek Voyager figures on the platforms. Nowadays, well, you hardly find any, but I suppose 30 years on, they're not going to be as readily available as they were, I suppose, 15 years prior. So there we are. They do occasionally come up, though, don't get me wrong. But they are usually, if they come up carded like this one in mint condition, they're usually very, very expensive and they sell very quickly. They also, obviously, you do get a lot of the single figures without the packaging, without the accessories, without the cards. They do come up quite regularly. But finding them like this, in this mint sealed, unopened condition, doesn't happen very often on the platforms anymore. However, we at Midas Touch have managed to find a whole case full of Star Trek Voyager figures. And Kathryn Janeway is obviously amongst them. So we do have a few of her available. Currently available on Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. And it will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other Star Trek Voyager items. And many other toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website, and there will be something for everybody. And I am absolutely positive that this is something that you won't want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful action figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.